judgment that just came out. All right, we'll talk about it maybe tomorrow. Maybe Andrew will bring it your way on Morning Crossfire, but we will definitely touch on that one. But for now, I want to talk about something very interesting. We've been talking. Have I told you my name? Kaladakuru Batabo. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH, and we are active on X, Nigeria Info PH. So from the sound of my voice, you can know that I'm excited about the conversation I want to have, because it has to do with political structure. And why? We've been talking about political structure since the 30th day of October. Was it the 31st day? And, we talked about structure because there was an attempt to impeach the governor, His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, and then we saw the tussle for who should be the Speaker of the House of Assembly, and then we saw, some move to defect, even though we hear that it wasn't a defection. And then the move escalated to court cases upon court cases, and we saw we saw a series in the month of November 2023. We saw a series, of orders, in December as well. But we saw a judgment from the Federal High Court January, and then from there, it was, nothing to hold anymore, and everybody was moving left, right, center. And ever since then, there's been a political battle. And when we ask the players to tell you it's about the political structure in Rivers State. On Monday the governor was on Channel TV, and he did say, I beg your pardon, that it was basically a power tussle. On Tuesday, the acting minister was on Channel TV, and he did say, of course, it's about political structure. And we also heard, some people come out to say what the possible problem or the genesis of this political brouhaha in the state is. However, on Saturday, we saw local government elections hold, and 22 out of 23 local government areas were taken by the APP. The governor insists he's still a PDP member, but then again, APP winning 22 out of 23 local government is a political statement on its own. Some have argued because of the political situation, it has given birth to a new political dynamics in the state. Joining me to have this conversation, if you let me, I talk all hour, is Marcus Ijioma, who is a political commentator, a socio-political commentator, is also a media consultant, and is many things. I can't say the rest, a businessman, many things I should say. Welcome on the show, Marcus. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Carla. It's always a pleasure being here. Good evening, Port Harcourt and Niger Delta.
Last time I brought you, it's looking like whenever I want to do a bit of history, I bring you on the show. Last time we talked about 64 years of our existence, and I tried to bring out the positive angle to that conversation. Today, I want to also go down memory lane. Since we returned to democracy in 1999, Rivers State has been, PDP, so to say, in the political lingua. We say this is a PDP state, they would say. So it started with Peter Alderley. He ruled 8 years. Umeya came in for a bit, and then Amechi took over PD. Amechi now wanted to go to APC.
He did.
At some point,
he defected
and then he defected to the APC, and PDP, came back through Enrique, and now there is His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, all of PDP. However, it is looking like the power tussle in the PDP has got the governor looking at other options. We speculated for a while whether he was going to leave the party. He's insisting he's still a PDP member, but however, his political moves and political strategies may be, saying otherwise. What do you make of the current political dynamics in the state?
Very interesting. I've also said in your studio here that in all, the people will suffer. In all, the people will benefit. So the more they fight, the more we know. So the political dynamics in Rivers State it's not strange, but it's happening too fast. In every society, you have what we call political culture. That's what you try to explain by, going down memory lane historically, how PDP has performed in the state. But, culture is bound to change. So a culture, let me do a comparison between culture and weather. So weather and climate rather. So weather changes, like it can change twice in a day, but climate takes a long time to change. Same with culture. Culture is a way of life of a group of people over a period of time. But culture also changes after a long time because of interference with other cultures and all of those kind of things. So I see from where I'm sitting now that Rivers is about to change its own political culture. So that's what we're seeing. It's like climate change. Strange things, strange occurrences are happening. Things that ordinarily weren't happening before in the climate is happening now because there's climate change. Climate is a state of weather over a long period of time. Culture is a way of life over a long period of time. But all of them are subject to change over time. So when they're about to change, strange things begin to happen. Like APP winning majority in a PDP state. And that is not also far from the cultural practices in Rivers State, political cultural practices in Rivers State. One of which, if the opposition or those who are classified as fighting the sitting governor got a wind 3 months ago that they're going to use APP to run the local government election, subsection of PDP, because most of the people who actually contested under APP were PDP a few weeks down the line. So if they had that inkling, which was what they learned from what happened to APC in 2015. So you have litigations upon litigation that will eventually disqualify the party from fielding candidate in the election. So they kept it close to their heart and sprung a surprise.
So APC, when you say APC, you're talking about Awara, if I remember correctly.
No, Dakuku Peter side.
Okay, Dakuku Peter side.
Yes.
Okay.
He couldn't, APC didn't have a candidate in 2015 because Magnus Abe and Dakuku Peter side went to court. Rumors had it that one of them was being sponsored to destabilize APC so that APC wouldn't have a candidate. It did come to pass. So now, you don't want a situation where suddenly, if all the caretakers chairman, of which most of them emerged as substantive chairman, had announced when they were serving as caretaker chairman, when they indicated interest in contesting that they were going to run on the platform of APP, I'm sure we'll have a barrage of court cases that would have probably disqualified the party from fielding. Even a national crisis in the party's headquarters in Abuja would have occurred to create that chaos. So political watchers know that all of these intrigues are playing out because the political landscape of Rivers State is about to change.
Interesting. Is this a political statement from the governor to the PDP? And I'm asking because once again we know that the battle of control of the PDP, or the battle for control of the PDP, did not start when the Rivers crisis started. It only escalated the crisis because we can trace it all the way back to pre-general election, right? Pre-2023 election, where Atiku and Wike went head-to-head, right? And when Fubara and Wike started their back and forth, their battle, many people in the PDP were silent for a while, and then we saw them talking beats by beats, but they were not setting what. And I remember asking you the question: would the PDP tilt towards the governor or towards the FCD minister? And we argued finances, budgets, and all of that. But is this a message to the PDP that you need to stand behind me in this political fight?
No, there is no straight answer to this. There's no straight answer to this, and I'll tell you why in a short while. The PDP, as a party, nationally, has failed Nigerians.
How do you mean?
Yes, because they have not, in my own assessment, have not provided that necessary opposition to the current federal government. And it's not far-fetched. The reason is not far-fetched. The reason is simple, because the current leadership of the party is perceived to be loyal to the FCT minister, who happened to be one of the star boys in the APC-led federal government. That marriage should end immediately. Why? Because Nigerians need a voice to speak on economic issues, to speak on social issues, to speak on the sufferings of the people. But the PDP at the national level can't speak because they appear to be loyal to the FCT minister. In that regard, the national PDP has failed. Now, when you come to PDP in Rivers State, there is also a failure of leadership. For instance, all of the so-called Atiku boys who were articulated during the 2023 election campaign as against the wishes and caprices of the FCT minister are not loud enough in their support to the sitting governor.
But they have showed their support.
I said they are not loud enough. There's a difference between showing your support, issuing one press statement and going to sleep just to say, Oga, see me, I dey here, and then you go back and Oga turns back and he doesn't see you. So if they were all side by side with the governor as we speak, by now the PDP at the national level would have identified that, look, these are the caliber of people we are going to lose if we don't line up behind the governor in Rivers State. Whether we like it or not, I've also said it in this studio that the governors are the ones who bankroll political parties in Nigeria.
Okay.
Party members don't pay dues.
Okay.
So PDP has a lot to lose, and they're already losing for not supporting the governor.
But when you say governors bankroll the party, the FCT minister is somewhat a governor, if you would agree with me.
What's a governor?
I'm saying somewhat is
mayor of Abuja.
A mayor, you can say
Yes.
that. Governor of Abuja, you can say that.
No, the president is the governor of Abuja.
I'm trying to use it.
The National Assembly is the Abuja House of Assembly.
Okay.
Yes.
So he's the mayor.
Yes, mayor.
And he has some funds, like he said on Channels TV a couple of days ago.
Yes.
And so he also can sponsor the party, don't you?
Let me tell you, when I made that comment here, I think a caller or somebody sent in a message saying that FCT budget was bigger than that of Rivers State. I think we had that conversation.
Yes,
Let me say something. When Wike was governor of Rivers State, good enough, you are a journalist. I am, but I'm not practicing as much as you do. But you will get words like, council has approved 10 flyovers, 3 flyovers. What we used to hear was council has approved. We don't hear, we are Ministry of Works is advertising that we want to build. Yes, procurement processes.
Marcus, please, can I just pause you? Go to commercial. When we do come back, we continue our conversation.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
the hour, and yes, you're listening to Hard Facts and 92.3 Nigeria Info. I do have Marcos Ijioma with me, is a socio-political commentator, media consultant, a businessman, and once again, so many other things.
The husband of one wife.
Oh my goodness. All right, so we're looking at the fate of the PDP in Rivers State. We're looking at the current state of the politics in Rivers State. And before the break, Marcus, you were telling me, about, how, yes, Rivers State has been in the political lingua, a PDP state, but the culture is about to change, just like climate change, you said. And we then moved, to if this is a message to the PDP at the national level. And you said the PDP has failed at the national, and the PDP, even in the state, is failing. And you were going to buttress that point.
I was looking at it from the assets part of PDP. You know, Rivers has a deep wallet. When it comes to resources. And
I told you that Abuja also has got the
but the difference between the wallet of Abuja and PDP and Rivers is this. The FCT minister has the National Assembly supervising him over there. Not just Rivers, all the states of the Federation. There's hardly any state that the House of Assembly says anything to the governor. Contrary. It's unfortunate. It's a very unfortunate situation because they are supposed to be independent, just like the judiciary, to oversee, what the executive is doing. But from federal to states, painfully so, are all rubber stamp. It doesn't matter which political party is in charge of the state.
Including Rivers State?
Yes. So even before the crisis started. So you don't have, the FCT minister does not have that opportunity to, I was trying to borrow his words, that when under him, we didn't see much of the budget of the state. And I can't remember any time that the House of Assembly stood up to that fact to say, if you don't show us the budget, if you don't follow the budget. Because I can't remember that by the time he was coming for the second tenure, if there were flyovers in the 2020, that was 2019 budget, 2019-2020 budget. If there were flyovers in that budget. So I can't remember, but what we used to hear was council has approved, council approved demolition, council approved flyover. He doesn't do that in Abuja. And he also did something that was unique. I don't know, I will have to check Rivers procurement law, but as far as the federal procurement law is concerned, I know that is not correct, which is paying 70% of contract sum upfront. In any procurement environment, that is a red flag. But this is what was happening in Rivers State. That cannot happen in Abuja. And we know, allegedly, that some of these upfront payments to contractors and all of these things sometimes are turned behind the scene to fund political parties and this major structure we are talking about. Because political party members don't pay dues. They don't. They only buy from when they want to contest. It's only those who contest that actually pay money to the party. But that money is not enough to run the day-to-day activity of the political party because they run into millions, if not billions. The salaries of all secretarial staff, those are minor issues. So losing a state like Rivers State, because with all that is happening in Rivers State now, what is happening is that, there's no state in Nigeria that doesn't have a former governor. There's no state. So, but you don't expect, let me use Akwa Ibom for instance. I don't know who their former minister, I think it was Akpabio, yes. Let's assume that Akpabio was not, or let me use my state. No, the former minister in my state is not in the same party with the current governor. Let me use Benue. Again, the governor is not in the same party. But there's no states, right, that the former minister, every state must nominate a minister to the federal cabinet. That the former minister is the one bankrolling the party in the state. No, it is the governors and the political office holders in those states that are doing so. Because these politicians, they are not businessmen. Once they get out of office, they start getting broke. If you visit most of their houses, they can't even change electric bulbs because the houses are bigger than what they can imagine. No matter how much you loot, the moment, even if you spend wisely, it's still going to finish. So their lifestyle is so elaborate. If you're a former governor, you can hardly go with just one car. It's almost impossible because they have made security so bad that they must go with a convoy, at least one police dispatch vehicle or a dispatch vehicle with military people who can protect them. So their lifestyle is not yours. So all of this looting that they do is to sustain their lifestyle outside of office. So you don't want to now, instead of focusing on your immediate family or extended family outside office, you now begin to fund party structures. Abuja doesn't give that kind of window of opportunity because there are so many eyes in Abuja. So the governor of Rivers State is an asset as far as party funding is concerned. I know people are going to call and deny it, but the truth is you have to show me an evidence. When last did you pay your party dues? All those claiming to be PDP members, APC members, Labour Party members, let them show their dues slip. How they did the transfer, which bank account did they pay to? So it is the state governors. I know it's hard fact, you want facts, so I'm telling you, it's the state governors that fund party. And that is what Rivers State is lacking right now. The FCT minister can't fund everything. So they need him, they need the governor back. So that's all I have to say in terms of these assets, being an asset and what PDP stands to lose if they don't reconcile as soon as possible, because as it is now, they are losing it. The governor is only pretending, telling you, oh, he's still a PDP member. My brother. Rumors have it that he even lost his polling units to APP, the opposition party. That
but when you say he lost, PDP did not contest the election. So when you say he lost,
he has his supporters in PDP. Why did they not just even thumbprint mistakenly or invalid votes on the PDP?
But since you are putting rumors, there are rumors out there that he may have supported the candidates of the APP, that they are his loyalists.
Very possible. Very possible. That's what I'm telling you, that the political culture in Nigeria, in Rivers State, is not like it is in America.
Is this anti-party?
There's no evidence. It's still rumors. We don't talk about rumors on radio. We talk about facts.
On channels,
yes.
the interview with the governor.
The governor or the minister?
The governor on Monday. And Shegun asked him, a question. I think it was a trick question, and asked him if he regretted, something like using the APP, and he said, Shegun, I did what I had to do for the sake of the interest of Rivers people. Something in that
Brilliant.
Something in that
yes.
light. So the question is, if it is ascertained that, the people are his loyalists and he, supported them one way or the other, is that anti-party? Because we're talking about him being an asset to the PDP,
yes.
given the fact that he is a governor, and you've just, shone the light on what happens in the party system and how the governors are the backbone of political parties.
Financial backbones, yeah.
The question then is, if it is found out that he's sponsored and they are his loyalists, is that anti-party, given the fact that he's an asset?
You will almost not be able to establish that fact.
Or they would not even go looking?
No, they will go looking, but they won't find it. Because it's like money laundering. If you are intelligent, I don't have to say certain things on air, but there's a way people launder money. Let me give you a simple scenario.
Laundering money is a crime, so I'm wondering what scenario that
yes, see, funding political parties with state resources like money laundering. That's what it is. That's why I'm making that
It's also, in my opinion, it's also a crime.
Yes, it is. If it's established, but you can't establish it. It's almost difficult to establish it. For instance, let me ask you a question. If it passes through a lot of phases. For instance, if I want to fund election in a Che local government in Nigeria, I'm telling you what happens in Nigeria for facts. Off air, I can give you names and figures. I can decide that we are building double lane in a Che. Engineers will value this contract, put it maybe at 1 billion naira for 2-3 kilometers of dual carriageway. That figure will be inflated. We will pick our preferred contractor.
Oh, okay, budget padding, I guess?
Yes. Once the money is released to the contractor will be told who to give the difference to. He gives the difference. He passes through about 4-5 hands before finally gets to the people who are going to sponsor the party. How do you want to trace that kind of? And these monies will move in dollars.
I think I understand where you're coming from. We've seen court cases when EFCC is trying to trace money.
The money will be converted from naira to dollars. That way it loses trace. They don't transfer such money. They don't transfer such funds. So you can't establish that the governor did anti-party. You can't also establish that former minister joining APC cabinet is anti-party. He keeps claiming that he wrote to his party gave him a nod. Like I said, the party is in his pocket. So,
but he said he wrote to the governor gave him a nod as well.
Of course, that was when the going was good. You don't expect the governor not to give him a nod. He needed that ministerial position to be relevant in Rivers State. Imagine a weekend now without a ministerial portfolio. What do you think will be happening? He probably will be chilling somewhere in Greece or Spain. You won't see him in Rivers State. But because he has the FCT, he has at least 1 week access to the president at the Federal Executive Council. So he needs that position. Wike is not broke. He has everything that God can bless anybody with. So he needs to be in that cabinet so that he can be seen to be controlling from Abuja. And then, of course, the IGP is one dial away, and then the IG is not picking a governor's call. And all of those things that happen in Abuja, allegedly. I'll keep using that because I don't want you to keep saying,
I was going to go.
I know where you're going. So I'm just trying to tell you, basically all I'm trying to say is that this is our political culture. It is not correct. I'm not by any means approving of these illegalities that we practice and call it structure and how do
political strategy?
Yes, it's not a political strategy. It's a demonic one. It's anti-people, because all of these things is resources. It takes resources to mobilize 200-300 people to a local government headquarters to burn it down. It's a lot of resources. These guys are going to charge you money. You pay them in cash. It's not transfer. It's not. You can't trace it. So you can't say this was the person who sponsored it, because they didn't give them bank transfer. They don't accept checks.
So now you've brought this up, it takes our conversation to another dimension, in the sense that there's going to be a probe, judicial commission. There's going to be a police probe as well.
Yeah.
You're saying it's not traceable. So are we wasting our time with these probes?
Of course, it is a waste. And it's not just a waste because it's not traceable, because they have video evidence. Some of these people, their faces were on the video. Right? That's a good way to start. If the police doesn't even need to investigate anything. The social media has made it so easy. They were foolish enough to be doing video while they were doing that. So the police has videos. Unfortunately, I will ask, does the police have a database of eyes
to trace and track,
to match
and
images and identify? If you identify the faces, is there a database? Is it from NIN? Is it from BVN? How do you trace their last known address to start making arrests? We behave as if we are from another planet when we talk about
this is local government. If they bring the faces to someone, the person can identify, I know this person.
It is an analog way of investigation. But if that's what they want to do, fine. Where we are going to is the outcome of this investigation, right? The investigation is going to be implemented by state institutions. And in Nigeria, just like Barack Obama said many years ago when he was president of America, we have strong men. We don't have strong institutions. We have institutions who listen, who wait for phone calls to act. We have a police system that, the DPO won't act until the commissioner tells him. Commissioner won't act until AIG tells him. Or AIG won't act until DIG tells him. DIG will not act until IG tells him. Instead of doing what the Constitution says. So if you're a policeman, like the video that was used by Arise Channel on the Benue election, where a policeman stood while people were thumbprinting on ballot paper and was telling them, well done, no. Whether the video was a fake old election or current election, that was an election taking place. So why would a policeman physically witnessing a crime and even encouraging the criminals to do that, even though his face was not visible? But that is the kind of society we have. So everybody is waiting for phone call to act. So if you now do the judicial panel of inquiry, that the one that the governor set up, which is a waste of time and waste of resources, if you ask me, and they say, oh, this and people have been indicted, who is going to implement the indictment?
Prosecution.
Yes. We were here when Rotimi Amechi was indicted. He was still a serving minister because he was in a ruling government. No police
but they called that witch hunting.
No, you have to be a witch to be haunted. You're already a witch. If you are saying that
figuratively.
No, yeah, I'm speaking figuratively. If you say it's witch hunting, you must be a witch before we hunt. So there must be something that we are hunting. So whether it's witch hunt, political witch hunt, you are a witch. So you have to be haunted. And then when you are arrested, based on the report of the those days when a commission of inquiry is set up, everybody panics because people live for their name.
Okay.
Like the Bible says, a good name is better than rubies. A good name is an asset. So you were concerned. People will tell you, remember whose son you are. Remember our family name. They said that. Nobody cares about name anymore. People care about money. That's why the society is eroding and going down. Because if you care about your name, you know that if your name is mentioned that you were part of those who destroy local government, in the whole of that local government, your family should be blacklisted. But who is going to do that? As long as you bring in money.
Okay, now let's go back to our conversation.
Yes.
Do you think, as it is now, you said culture change.
Culture is about to change.
Political culture change.
Yes,
that's what you said.
After a long while.
And you're also saying that, the governor is an asset.
Yes.
Do you think, because now in recent times, we've seen Atiku become very vocal about the politics in Rivers State. We've seen, some prominent PDP men, become very vocal in what's happening in River State. I mean, Jonathan, Bode George, the likes. The question is, do you think, even if in your opinion, the leadership of the PDP is following the orders of the FCT minister, do you think that will change? You've talked about political change. Yeah. Do you think, or political culture change, do you think that will happen and the PDP would now have to dance to the tune that the governor is playing? Bala Mohammed was in Rivers a couple of days ago to swear in the local government chairman. Do you think that's a statement in its part?
Of course it is. See, let me tell you something, Kala. It's Rivers, whether we like it or not, it's an asset. That is why everybody's fighting for the soul of Rivers State.
I'm not fighting for it.
Okay, let me say it this way. If you have ever participated, I tried running for the presidential election back then and all of that. When you want to run for an election, you are thinking how much you are going to spend in each state. You have a budget for each state. You have budget for media, budget for security, budget for campaign offices, all kinds of budget, right? The moment you have the support of a sitting governor, that budget of that state is technically covered by the state government. That is why all these stakeholders are coming. Some of them have presidential ambition and all of those things. They have their own selfish interests. You know, the definition of politics and definition of freedom of association from our constitution is that you are free to politically associate to pursue your own interests. So all of those big names you are calling are pursuing their own interests. They are all potential PDP presidential candidates. And they know what the importance of having a governor to back you is. At least it will save you some money and a few delegates. So that is where they are looking at it from, But as a party that PDP is, PDP would then need the governor to support whoever their presidential candidate is, if at all PDP is still dreaming. Because where I'm going to with all of this is that I don't think PDP is looking at winning the next presidential election. I don't think so. Which is a shame, is a worrying, because PDP is the second largest political opposition, followed by Labour.
Okay.
But one would expect that by now, we should have a robust opposition, even if they are not united, firing on all cylinders.
But it will maybe be unfair to look at it in that light, because even the Labour Party has its own shares of.
I agree.
Even the ruling party has its shares of problems.
The ruling party have successfully managed their problem. APC is managing their problem, especially at the national level, very well, right? So, it is also correct to say that they are the ones financing some of these internal crises in Labour Party.
You would have to prove that.
I agree, but you see, I am not just a political observer. I'm not just a media person. I am also a politician. Okay. And so I see certain things in the field. Like I said, you can't trace it, just like money laundering. We've been there before. But, before Labour Party, before Peter Obi ran on Labour Party, was there a leadership crisis in Labour? Now Labour has become a beautiful bride, the party of the masses, and suddenly there's crisis. It's the suddenness of the crisis makes you want to believe that somebody's pulling strings somewhere. So I am also certain that somebody is pulling strings in PDP, playing and doing the biddings of APC to weaken PDP towards 2027. And PDP members themselves are not even aware of this fact. Because in all of this politicking that we are playing, whether in Rivers State or at the national level, today fuel price is between 1,300 to 1,400. That is what Nigerians want from opposition, not local government elections and who won and who burned what. That is just the truth.
Okay. Now, before, I was supposed to take phone calls, but this conversation has been very interesting. Before you stepped into the studio, and when you did, I mentioned the fact that the Court of Appeal in Abuja affirmed the judgment of the Federal High Court as it regards to the budget passed by the Edison Eye-led assembly at the time. He was, the speaker. Now it's Victor Okojumbo, that faction of the assembly. Yeah. What does this mean in all of these, political estimations and postulations and, calculations we've been doing?
I'm enjoying the political crisis in Rivers State. I told you that many months ago when it started.
You just complained we're suffering, and I'm wondering why you're enjoying it.
No, the suffering we're suffering was put on us by the federal government. the Rivers State does not control fuel prices. They don't deal with.
But they could have put in
maybe
maybe
they can't do
if
anything
all
other
hands.
than bringing more buses. That's what they would have done as far as public transport is concerned.
All
Or
right,
finish the monorail and subsidize transport.
Okay, let's
But
get it.
haven't said that, this judgment is neither here nor there. Everybody is going to just rejoice briefly until you wait for Supreme Court. The defection matter is still in the Supreme Court. This will also go there. So the justice in Nigeria today, sorry to say, is for the highest bidder. That is what it looks like right now.
You don't think this will in any way affect the PDP?
Tomorrow, Scala, tomorrow is still a working day, if I'm correct.
Tomorrow is Friday.
It's still a working day, yes.
Yeah.
The Attorney General of Rivers State is going to appeal Jesus. They will go to Supreme Court.
I'm not arguing. Of course, they have the right to.
Yes.
The question is, how does this, we're talking about the PDP.
Yes.
We're talking about the governor being an asset to the PDP.
Yes.
That's politically, of course. But this is also a political strategy. We've just said in Nigeria what we call political strategy is not. But this could affect, how the PDP would want to relate with the governor. I don't know if you agree.
It's not going to affect anything in the next 24 hours. Before this judgment has time for appeal before implementation starts. It is when the governor or his attorney general does not appeal within the given time, the judgment takes effect.
Okay.
So that's why I said tomorrow you will be here, you will read that news that Rivers State have proceeded on Supreme Court to appeal this judgment. The Supreme Court has a lot of work to do, and I want to use this opportunity to call on the new chief judge to wade in quickly, and the Nigerian Judicial Council to wade in on judges, because before now, people hardly get to this point with this kind of cases. These are cases, first and foremost, they are politically settled. If they are not politically settled, High Court. Now we have a situation where one state alone has over how many cases in court because of complication from different court cases and judgments. So I'm very sure, like I know my name, that Rivers State government will appeal.
What's your name again?
My name is Marcus Ijioma.
I was kidding.
Rivers State will appeal this. So the judgment is neither here nor there until the state fails to appeal within the given time by law. Then it takes effect. Then we now know that the Martin Amewule budget, the governor has committed a crime, which is an impeachable offense, by the way, by spending money that is not budgeted for.
So now let's even go there. Yeah. Once again, how does this affect his
chances in PDP?
His chances in PDP. How the PDP perceive or view him. Because if this is a way for the opposition, so to say, because they're still PDP members, for the opposition to be able to get to him, if the judiciary is, if the court is the way, if he goes to Supreme Court, I'm not preempting, and he loses there, like you've said, it's possibly an impeachable offense.
It's an impeachable, it's not possible.
They might want to settle politically.
So the question now is, which assembly is going to impeach him? Is it the Oko Jumbo or the Martin Amewule?
This is what it means. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but yes, from just understanding, it means that the court recognizes the Martin Amewule.
What if the court comes up tomorrow at the Supreme Court and says the Martin Amewule House of Assembly is not?
That's still what it is. But I'm saying, what if the court recognizes? We're not back
as it is now. The court has recognized the Martin Amewule.
We're looking after all the Supreme Court judgments now.
No judgment yet from Supreme Court.
What's the word now?
Preempting. Yes.
What if it happens? Now, I'm using the word "what if" probability. Now.
If it happens, let me tell you what will happen. Let's even assume that this was a Supreme Court judgment, right? Automatically, the governor has committed an impeachable offense.
So
he can be impeached on that ground. But which assembly is going to impeach? Is it the one that is also contested with another Supreme Court judgment that they defected? So you understand?
So the question is, the PDP now, looking at all of this, that's where I'm coming from. All of this confusion and conundrum, where do you think the pendulum will swing this time?
I see Rivers State moving to another party. If this matter is not resolved till this 2024, if this matter is not resolved till 2026, the governor will probably defect. That's what I see happen.
Oh my! Okay,
and even if you want to impeach him now, if you impeach the governor now, because if you impeach the governor, is it him and the deputy? If you remove the governor and the deputy, the speaker will become the acting governor
for a couple of months. A couple of months.
Yes. So which of the speakers? So the judiciary has a lot of work to do.
Okay. We will go for a very quick commercial. Then when we come back, I'll get your final thoughts on all of these issues that we've talked about. Just stay tuned. I'll be right back. All right, I've seen some messages saying, "Oh, I did not take calls." Remember, we will still have chance to talk about this, the open season. But Marcus Ijioma, thank you very much for coming in. So let's get your final thoughts on this very issue. We're looking at the PDP in all of these crises. It looks like, like the governor said, they're the biggest loser in all of this. They did not participate. They may be having their say in court, I don't know, but they did not participate. And now 22 out of 23 are there as local government chairman from another party. What are your final thoughts?
Those people are placeholders.
What do you mean by that?
The local government chairman, they are placeholders depending on when the crises are resolved. They will defect back to PDP. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm telling you of the truth. They just need to hold the space depending on when PDP resolve their issue. APP is not known. It's the structure that we are fighting for. They don't have
Labour Party was not known up until not like they, but I mean they became very known. Very
you said
prominent.
I should round up, so let me quickly round up. Right? You see, these chairmen and councillors, they are placeholders. They are holding the chairmanship and councillorship in their various parties, pending on when the crises are resolved. And then what does it take to defect? Gather people in Gowon Stadium, Yakubu Gowon Stadium, and they say we have all defected, and they are back to PDP. So it's PDP as a party. In order to benefit from this new crop of leaders, should quickly resolve this matter. The PDP should become a strong institution, stronger than the governor, stronger than the FCT minister. Then and only then will PDP will be seen as a serious political party. For now, they are being controlled by individuals that have outgrown them and become so indisciplined, if I must use that word.
All right, thank you for your thoughts there, and it's a pleasure always having you on the show.
Always a pleasure.
All right, just stay tuned. The news update up next, and after that, more conversations.